Hello, hey, Hisco, how you doing, mate?
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. I went to the wrong Zoom room like an idiot. How are you guys?
Oh, good, all good here.
Good to hear. I've been looking forward to going through the markets a bit. So
Yeah,
let me share my screen and let's get started. Um, this is probably not the best way to do it. Let me kill some of. You can see my screen, right?
yeah.
Just
I hope you have a copy of that setup.
yeah, it's a pain in the ass to do. Uh,
What a point.
Okay. Okay, so what have we got? We've got AVAX, what do we add? RAIN BTC, DCR BTC, Doge BTC, GT BTC, BAL BTC, CleanC BTC, ETH BTC, ETH BTC. That's probably enough to be kicking on with for now. So let's look at so that should be so what was last week was the 15th, so let's put it here. The big red line is Ethereum. So altcoins by and large outperformed Ethereum last week. So in theory, what we wanted to happen did happen. How did our coins go? Let's look at them individually. Um, just before we start, I think this one is probably going to be a runner. I think we'll be in this before too long. Cardano. Um, what I like about it is we have a close above the old highs, and if you look at there should always be some selling pressure there, and the selling pressure was like super weak, and we've got a confirmed breakout. That looks like a runner to me. Um, so what did we have? We had Luna out above fresh highs, breakaway. I still haven't exited my position yet. I thought I'd wait and see how it went for the rest of the day. I'm really tempted to hold that, to be honest.
Right. I already changed.
I'm like really tempted to be a cunt. I think I probably will just between you guys. Just between you guys, I think I've got a strong desire to be an alt, so I'll probably split the difference and um, keep one and then sell the rest. Okay, so Luna did pretty good. Looks pretty good. LSK BTC did surprisingly well, but looks like shit. That one's got to go. No, this one's an interesting one. Yeah, that's got to go too. That's not a thing to hold. That's showing no evidence other than just like fingers crossed. Um, What else did we have? We had LSK Uni. Same basic deal. That's just wishful thinking, right? That's going to go as well. And what was the last one?
FTT.
I mean, that's pretty obvious. Like that's that's a pretty bullish pattern. I'm pretty tempted to keep that one too.
Yeah, I was tempted to keep that one as well.
Yeah. To be honest, I think I'm going to break the rules here and keep Luna and FTT and stick the rest in Ethereum. So last week,
Is it worth it to go back in? Like, obviously, I already switched to Ethereum.
Yeah, same here.
I was.
I wouldn't think it'd be worth it to go back in. To be honest, I really want to keep transaction costs down.
Yeah.
Let's look at Ethereum because that's the big question, right? I mean, Ethereum looks like it's going to go, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm very happy holding Ethereum this week. It looks actually a higher probability chart than the others.
Mhm.
It just doesn't look to have as much upside potential, if you know what I mean. Like it's not possible for it to go up 50% in a week, right? I think Ethereum looks like a high probability of getting to at least sort of here-ish next week. No, I would hold Ethereum. Let's look at how close it was. So 0.2 is the cutoff, which is here, and we've spent most of the week below the cutoff.
But okay. That was going to be my question. So that's why the system decided to switch us back to Ethereum, right? Because he went down, right? Got it.
And there's an unsatisfying thing with the system in that 2 days ago it was an alt season, today it's not, right? Mm-hmm. If it's right on the borderline, then we're running parameter risk. What is best practice is to like run those parameters over different look back periods and average them out, and then algo the system every day instead of a little bit every day instead of once a week. But I just, I couldn't tell people to do that, and they just like get so confused. So this is an unsatisfying situation where we're actually taking risk that we're not being compensated for. Like I don't mind taking risk if we're being paid to take risk, but what I don't like is the risk of us being in alt season or out of alt season just coming down to like the flip of a coin, if you know what I mean. Like that, to me, that's not best practice system design, but I don't see a way around it. Let's look at Bitcoin first. I mean,
Bitcoin had a good run up the last couple of days. It actually did
sure.
quite
good. Let's look at that first. Actually, we should have started there. I mean, I mean, the fix was in here, right? Like that's amazing. Like no pullback here. It's working off oversold momentum by going sideways. So whenever you see like the lines aren't drawn right because I'm a retard, but anytime you see shit like this, not that this is a real channel, but what this represents is a weakening trend. So there's two interpretations of that. Interpretation one is that it's weakening because it's running out of steam and it's going to do that. Interpretation two is that it's so strong that it wanted to make a pullback here, but just couldn't muster any sort of pullback, and it's like, and it's working off that overbought momentum from here in a way that's like preparing it for blast off. And what is more likely? We're really running into our resistance zone here. Like, to be honest, the higher probability thing is Bitcoin pulling back next week because we're running into all of this thing. But the other side of that is that this run is so fast it totally changes the game, right? Like, let's say hypothetically Bitcoin dropped 30% tomorrow and we go down to 38 or 35. How are you placed if you wake up tomorrow and you see Bitcoin for 35,000? You back the truck up and buy more, or do you sell out?
It's a 50-50, I guess, on that right there. I wouldn't buy. But like for a short-term trade, I wouldn't do it. But if I do sort of like a dollar cost average or something like that, I would do buy. But long-term, short-term, I wouldn't do it.
And I'm with you. I mean, really, anything that goes from 28 to 50 in 5 weeks, 6 weeks, needs a pullback. Like it definitely needs, it just can't do that forever, right? I mean, you can see that working off the overbought momentum into a channel here. You see what I mean? It was like it tried to make a pullback but really couldn't, and this is the telltale sign of a really strong bull market. So I think honestly it's a 50-50 call whether we get a pullback next week or not. I can see why the system's got us in Ethereum. Because alts weren't as strong as we thought they were going to be this week, right? I just don't know. Honestly, at this point, I don't know. Let's have a look at, see if there's any clues. Sorry. So the profit taking is still all totally positive. It looks exactly like this sort of phase here, right? Like, so the profit taking wasn't able to pull back even to break even. Everyone's fat and happy. Let's look at how, that's interesting. That is very interesting. Okay, so we've got traders who we've got traders who've been in the game for 232 days on average. Where does that put us back? About January-ish.
Okay.
That's profit taking. That's definitely some long-term profit taking there. Let's look at some hodl waves. That'll probably give us a few clues here. So what I want to see is who is selling out. Let's look right up here. Okay, so the dark red is 24 hours, 1 day to 1 week, 1 week to 1 month, 1 month to 3 months, and 3 to 6 months. So these are the 6-month bands. One year to 2 years increasing. One month to 3 months is decreasing. And 1 month is really decreasing. Let's see if there's a better way to. All right. So this is the realized cap, or the NUPL of the individual hold times. So this group here is 1 month to 3 months, drastically reducing their profits. So these guys are taking profit. So 1 month to 3 months. Where are we now? We're August, July, June, May. So the guys who bought on the way down are cashing out here. What do you think that means? I mean, we've got strong evidence that all these other groups are either staying the same or getting bigger. But this group here is shrinking their positions and shrinking the amount of profit that they have. So the 1 month to 3 month group, where are we now? 25th of August. That puts us to 25th of May, which puts us here. So the people who bought the dip, they've had a terrible time. They've made a lot of money. They're out the game. Now, where does that leave us? Let's think that through.
Because obviously, if all those people were driving the market up technically, so if they start taking profit, then there will be a chance that will be more sellers.
So I think it's more important to see how the market reacts to that selling pressure, because the price hasn't gone down with all that selling pressure, right? Mm-hmm. The price has actually gone up, and kept going up today. Actually,
Yeah, I was thinking it's sort of like a litmus test for Bitcoin.
That's
like how much new demand is there despite the selling?
So I think that's really insightful, and I think it's a question of the same guys who hated it at 29 now all of a sudden fucking love it at 50. Like that's the question we've got to answer, right? Or are those same guys going to sit on the sideline and wait until it pulls back to 40 to try and buy? Let's look at Ethereum. I wonder if they have this for Ethereum. Oh, that's Bitcoin. Let's look at coins with balance above 1. Definitely found a bottom. How is retail? Coins with balance above 0.1. So definitely found a bottom and found a bottom found early. See above 100. So we've got slightly more 100 coin balances than at the start of the month. Now, hovering still at 1,000 coin balances. Let's zoom out. So Wales was selling into that top. Can't see that. Where can I see that? Let's look at Willie Woo's supply shock model. Let's see if we can. Oh, sorry, baby, I forgot. Okay. I wonder how I can get this live chart. Coin supply shock. Let's see if he's got it in the charts. No, I don't think he has it. Okay, what else can we look at here? Oh, we didn't see the recent data. Let's see what the exchanges are doing. So exchange balances fell during the rally. And now it looks like they might be starting to rise again. I think that looks like a pullback coming. I mean, I wouldn't want to bet on a pullback, you know what I mean? But so to me it looks like probably a 50-50 call if we get a pullback in Bitcoin this week. It looks like probably 65% chance that Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin this week. And in terms of altcoins, we're seeing very clear differentiation from, let me change this. We're starting to see very clear winners and losers. So what's 60 days back from that? Where are we? 25. July. It started July. More or less. So what are we seeing here? AVAX, RSR, Ethereum was middle of the pack, pretty much. And did we get a strong mean reversion effect? No, we did not. Theta was down. What do you think is going to happen this week, guys?
That's it's quite interesting because obviously you see all these coins. I've been following Sol, Luna, AXS, and they're all on all-time highs. Interesting. And I was gonna ask you in terms of the system, how those coins are sort of ranked in the system.
Let me show you how it works. The ranking methodology is we draw a linear regression line through the last 49 days, but we exclude, so for that's like a line of best fit that looks like that, right? We exclude the last 14 days because that's all just mean reversion nonsense, right? So the line looks something like this, and then we draw this angle from here is called the sign of the linear regression line. It's that like with a protractor in school, remember?
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
it's like the angle, and then because if you imagine that this linear regression line is just barely fitting these points, right? Whereas if I draw another linear regression line like before, like this is almost perfectly fitting these points, right? So then we multiply the angle by what's called the Pearson's coefficient. And let me show you how that works. So let me just whack in some parameters here so you can see. And you can see this number here, the 0.31, is how well it fits. 1 is a perfect fit, 0.31 is whatever, and so we get what looks like, let me show you the output.
I can still see you, Mauricio, but I think he froze.
Okay, I think yeah, no, he's not back yet.
Maybe he'll just disconnect and reconnect.
Yeah. Seems like I'm the host now for some reason.
Right, so I think you might need to let him in if he tries to
comes back
rejoin.
in. Yep. Power spike rebooting. He
There we
says.
go. You're muted, Scott.
Sorry about that. Okay, so let's look at the data. This was
Your screen.
oh, sorry. So this is the refactored alga, and this is how it looks. So we take the close. We need the we need the average true range. We take the slope and multiply it by the R squared, and then we get this slope ratio by multiplying. I checked it by multiplying the slope by the slope ratio. So that's how I ordered it, and then I did a transverse on this matrix, and yeah, and this is what it looked like last week. I haven't actually. Maybe I've got the data for this week. This is what the refactored algo looked like last week. So yeah. What was the one that was breaking out? AVAX. So where was AVAX last week? AVAX was way down in 28th place last week. I'll be really interested to see when I get the data a bit later today. I'll send you guys that and let you know where it is. So anyway, so that's how it works.
Interesting. Where is in the ranking? Where is Sol?
This was a week ago, and yep. Sol was way down in 52nd place.
Yeah, right. Interesting. Okay.
But if you think about how it works.
Yeah, because it's basically
all the BTC pairs, by the way. So if Sol looked like, we're excluding the last 14 days, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So
right.
So yeah. So Sol is still looking pretty sideways for another week, but in a week's time from now, Sol is going to be a standout, right? Because the line is going to be going from like here up to here.
Right.
So when do we want to buy Sol? We want to buy it on a pullback. Hopefully, we get a pullback. Yeah, I think Sol is probably going to be the pick next week. And you can see it's a 0.57 coefficient, which is starting to get like a decent fit. So the momentum that works best is a momentum that looks like this, right? There's an academic paper on it called frog in water momentum. So the momentum that doesn't work best is one where it just does like a massive 300% pump in a week and then dumps. The momentum that works best is when it just slowly, week after week, just grinds it out like this. So in our ranking methodology, it doesn't make much difference actually, to be honest, but it was a definite advantage to penalize coins that are just pure pump and dump.
Right.
Like let's look at AVAX, because that's bullshit strong. Like, that's an amazing chart. But you couldn't buy it now. Like, I wouldn't want to buy it now.
Yeah.
It's like, but on a pullback, fuck yeah. Yeah. Overall, I was pretty bummed when I saw it not in alts earlier today, but after looking at it, I'm not so sad about being in Ethereum. Actually, I think I'm going to jack the lot to Ethereum.
Yeah, it's sort of like the safest thing. Obviously, right now, a lot of the alts have already, done a huge run up.
Well, let's look at what's really happened in Bitcoin terms. Let's do the lows off that. The lows were in 19th of July, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've got some alts that are streaking ahead. Is that really the right price? What was the? So we should look at this too. So the bottom in alts was 22nd in July. So this is the Altcoin Market Cap. What do you think about this?
Ah, interesting. I I think that it needs a pullback, but
That's exactly what I thought. Is like I want to be in alts, but that's just greedy, 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 isn't it?
yeah, it is. It is a matter of time until those things just plump down.
And they just they're such fucking meany like emotional things. Like they crash a bit harder, right? Probably due for a pullback, isn't it? I mean, the market cap's gone from 600-ish to nearly doubled in under a month. Straight line, no pullback. Probably a good idea to be in ETH this week.
The interesting thing, I was gonna ask you from your perspective, how would you measure how far of a pullback will be? You know what I mean? Like that is that even possible, or is that yeah?
That is a really interesting question. So let's start with the stuff that doesn't work. Fibonacci numbers.
Mhm.
The only one that actually works is 50%, and it's not even a Fibonacci number. So where so pullbacks work radically different in trading ranges and trending situations. So if we're authentically trending, we've got a lot of FOMO, right? Like the psychology is different. If we're authentically trending and we're in a bull market and the bull market is in a trending phase and not a corrective phase, then any pullback becomes a buying opportunity, right?
Mhm.
The pullback that you want is a two-legged pullback. It's extremely rare for any pullback to just be one and done.
Right.
If you look at almost any pullback, like this was a one and done, but that's quite rare. Nearly all pullbacks, when you zoom into them, are like two-legged. So what I mean is this one went down to here, up to here, down to here. And let's look at some others. This one, if you look in this bar, went down, up, down, three-legged. Down, up in the same bar, down. Down, up, down. It's the most common form of pullback, and the psychology behind it is kind of interesting. The first pullback is usually heavily bought because after this, there'll be guys who'd step in. Where would you think is a good deal? Here is an amazing deal. Here is pretty fair value, right? Right now. So you would expect you get something that looks like that, buyers will step in. Like there's shit that they've been looking at over here going, ooh, I want that fucking AVAX, I want that SOL, I want that whatever they want. They'll step in. The problem is, because so many people have bought here, everyone's fully long now. Like, if you have the capacity to be long, you're long, right?
Mm.
So the problem is when this rally, if it breaks new highs, all well and good, we're off to the races again. If it falls short, that's a big problem because all the guys who were on the sidelines waiting to buy, they already bought. And so you only have three groups of buyers. You have people who own who want you have people who own who want to buy and sell, buyers and sellers, and you have guys on the sideline. And if the guys on the sideline get faked in, there's no one else to prop the market up, so it can fall quite fast. So I think the highest probability is probably something like that-ish. But I mean, we're in a bull market, so whatever length of pullback you expect, it's a bull market. So I mean, look at these previous pullbacks in the alt season. They're all, if you're going to say one thing about them, they're just way less than you'd expect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what a bull market is. Like it's on sale. Fuck it, I want to buy it. Like you know, I'm getting a great deal in alts. Boy, I'm really glad I sat down with you guys. I was prepared to YOLO a bit and bend the system. Now I think that's a big fucking mistake. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really grateful to you. I still think Ethereum Bitcoin looks good for this week. I mean, who would know? But that's a decent looking chart. Let's look at it on a weekly basis. Yeah, maybe. Bit inconclusive. Could pull back, could go up. Honestly, I think Ethereum's the smart choice.
Yeah, it looks like both Bitcoin and Ethereum, at least in the USDT charts, they have support, resistance to support, sort of. So I don't know.
So yeah, Bitcoin is sort of butting up into resistance and very strong support.
I mean Ethereum on the daily. It looks like it flipped. Yeah, that resistance turned into support.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Agree. Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
So that gave me a bit more confidence in switching back.
This chart is quite strong. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but
Yeah, I think the system's right. I certainly. So as a guideline for overruling the system, you want to make the threshold very high. Like you want to make it like it's a slam dunk, not just like I've got a hunch. And I think the system's probably right here. Right, guys. I'll be in touch.
All right, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Right, guys.
Sure.